Welcome, everybody, to this edition of
Biz
Rizz.
Riz.
As always, we take a question from an aspiring sports imp. Stop. What the fuck am I trying to say? We take a. I need to just get this down. Like we take a question from somebody who wants to work in the sports industry. Okay, here
Yes.
we go. Three, two. Welcome in, everybody, to this edition of Biz Riz.
Riz.
If you don't know what this is, we do it as much as we can when we get questions from folks who are interested in working in the sports industry. So let's take a listen to today's question.
Hi, my name is Julia, and my question for you is what are some of the toughest things you had to overcome or dealt with in order for you to feel more confident in your career?
Well, I don't even know where to start with this, Celeste. A tough situation we've gone through that made us more confident in our career. Where would you like to start? These are
I
supposed to
know.
be quick. A tough situation. Yeah, there's been a lot.
Yeah, I need time to think, but let's see. I would say off the top of my head, one of the toughest situations I had was probably 10 years into my career. We were doing the NFL draft, and for the first time, Fox Sports had decided to integrate a radio component to it, and we were usually just doing television. And so it was a lot more logistically that was involved. And long story short, there was 10 seconds of dead air when Jay Glazer went to go on. And I mean, that's like death, right?
It's
Eternity. You're like,
lifetime,
yeah.
lifetime.
I'm like, I'm gonna get
Oh,
fired. Yes. So we obviously, fixed it in the 10 seconds, got everything up and going. You just have to be reactive and get things done. But one of the things that happened during that time is there were a lot of people who obviously blamed me for the whole entire situation happening. And as a leader, I took the hit, right? And what it taught me though, it was really your support group matters, right? And I had a ton of people that supported me at Fox that were just like, hey, there were a multitude of problems, a multitude of layers. They talked me up, they built me back up to make me more confident. And I think to this day, what it's taught me is, we're all going to screw up, we're all going to mess up, right, Amy? And to really have that support when you need it creates that confidence every time. And you
yeah.
have to be willing to talk to that group that you have, that inner circle that you trust, and be
Hmm.
vulnerable. But at the same time, every time you open up and you talk to people about what went wrong, it creates like that magic of, oh, okay, here's how I can be better the next time, or here's how
Hmm.
I can solve that situation quicker. So
Sure.
that's what I can think off the top of my head. Amy, what do you have?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I like yours because I think it tackles the tough situations that that we created because of a mistake we made, right? Which is very human. So you're going to make mistakes in your career. Those are going to cause tough situations. But what did you learn from that? And did you learn to not do it again? Like, did you really pay attention to the mistake that you made? So I think that's a super important aspect of any industry, not just sports, but it feels elevated with sports because often it's live, right? And
Yeah.
live is, you can't get around it. I've got, I have so many things running through my head from, being laid off later in my career and not expecting that and what that did to me. It made me really figure out who I was beyond this role as the Giants in-game reporter. But the one I'm going to go to is actually, I've told you this before. Early in my career covering the Giants, 2009, Jonathan Sanchez throws a no-hitter. And afterwards, it's a big celebration. I'm waiting to get the interview, and he goes down the line and gives every single player, coach, trainer, you name it, the clubbies, a hug. And he gets to me and he reaches in to give me a hug, and I accepted and I hugged him back. I was very proud of him. This was a great storyline. He was on the verge of being, traded or let go, and he had been demoted to the bullpen, and he comes and has this amazing night. And I got destroyed through my colleagues in the media, in particular in radio and whatever. I don't care. It's KNBR. At this point, they should know. If they don't, there was a whole, gaggle at KNBR that thought I was the most unprofessional person on the planet. And even my own husband said when it happened, he goes, this is going to be bad.
Mm.
And it happened on a Friday night, and sure enough, here comes Monday, and it was bad. And I could not figure out why. I'm like, what is the problem? Like he threw a no-hitter. Give the guy a hug, right? Like, and so I wore it and I took the hits and the horrible things that were said about my character and how unprofessional I was and I didn't belong in this industry and all of that. This is 2009, remember that. And I just stayed true to who I was. And the one thing I kept saying was, I wouldn't change it. I
Mhm.
would not change it. What I learned from it in that tough situation of everybody ripping me to shreds and saying how unprofessional I am and I don't belong here was, you know what? That's who I am. When you do something really good, I'm going to give you a hug too,
Mhm.
because I'm a mom. I'm passionate about sports. I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up a Giants fan. I am pulling for these guys. I'm the in-game reporter. I'm not a beat writer. I'm the in-game reporter. When they do good, my job is easier. And I'll take that,
Yeah.
at that point in my life with a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And so I think what it taught me was don't ever, ever question who you are and who your character is
Mm.
and change because a bunch of guys think they've got, uh, their their thumb on the pulse here of how this works.
Mm.
We're integrated now. Women do things differently. We have different approaches, and it doesn't need to mean anything, and it doesn't need to be unprofessional. And I got real tired as my career went on of how judgmental people could be. And through that moment, I think I found who I really am. And I think I really started to create my role with the Giants. And I was a thoughtful uh, reporter who cared about the stories that I was delivering, and I cared about the people that I was telling them about because I was affecting their lives. And I realized that I was a reporter with empathy, and I can look myself in the mirror every single day because of that, whether somebody thought it was unprofessional or not. So the lesson, just be you. Be authentically, genuinely you. Always. Don't ever let anybody change that.
Mm. Good stuff, Amy.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Gotta love it. All right. Well, if you have a question for us, we hope that you will send it in and we will answer it on the next edition of
Biz
Rizz.
Riz.
Bye, everyone.